know the saying, you never get a second chance to make a first impression. We've all made snap judgments about people with very little information, but have you ever wondered if your assumptions were completely off the mark or even what people think about you? And do we have control over what people think about us? Research has shown that it takes people less than 2 minutes to form judgments about you, and if they're negative, it could take up to 10 additional encounters to change their mind. So Better took cameras to different parts of the country for our own experiment. We were upfront in letting people know that we got them on tape, and with their permission, a panel of strangers would offer their first impressions of them. But there's a twist. Our volunteers don't know that among them is Dr. Ann Demaray, a New York psychologist and owner of the company First Impressions. Now focus your attention on the woman in red standing at the bus stop. Our volunteers thought that she once worked in the arts and was retired. Well, they got part of it right.
I'm a classical singer and a teacher.
And almost unanimously, the group thought she was from New York, but
I am from Paris.
Sounds like the group may have underestimated her to a point, but again, that's only a few seconds, and this is their first impression, right? The man in the black jacket told us that he gets mistaken all the time for a musician. And that's exactly what our group thought, with one person saying street vendor. But he's a fitness trainer and a consultant. They also thought that he was from Detroit or from the South, but he traveled a bit further.
Well, I'm from Belize, Central America.
Now take a good look at the man on the cell phone in the mustard-colored coat. What would you think his occupation was? Our group rattled off every position that would fit under the title of a corporate executive, but
I'm actually still a student.
And most said he didn't seem like a native New Yorker, but when we asked, he told us,
I live in Long Island.
Yep, New York. The man in the pink and blue jacket, though, wasn't exactly thrilled to see our cameras, but after some persuading, he agreed. The group pegged him as a European tourist, retiree, or maybe even a college professor, but he's an architect from Toronto, and while most people saw him as conservative, he said you'd be surprised to know
I love to dance. I'm also a romantic.
Now the man on the left in the gray cap. Would you think that he's ever been arrested? Well, everyone said no, except for one woman who answered yes, specifically for possession of marijuana. His answer?
Yes, I have. For marijuana.
Almost everyone thought this man worked in a creative environment, and they were right. He works with high-profile runway shows. As for whether he'd been arrested, everyone said no. But his answer?
I have, actually at a football game. Being a little too rowdy, I think.
Now take Craig, the man in the green shirt. Our group thought that he was a student or a messenger, but he's a feature film director. But they were dead on when they told us where they thought Craig was from.
Brooklyn. That's what I thought too. That's what I thought.
Yes, born and raised, Brooklyn.
Well, Craig also threw us for a loop. Most of the group thought he was a hip-hop or a jazz lover, but Craig surprised everybody with his opera fetish. As for his personality, well, they thought he was friendly, with one woman adding,
I think trouble might find him.
And in a way, she's right. Trouble with the guys. Craig had quite a revealing admission to share.
That I actually dressed up in women's clothing. Just to see how I feel.
In his defense, Craig said that he and his friends were trying to figure out why it takes women so long to get ready. Good luck with that, Craig. At the end of the session, we revealed Dr. Demaray to the group, told them that she wasn't a volunteer, but an author and psychologist, listening to their responses the entire time. And after the session, she offered some insight into their answers and the types of vibes we give off without even knowing it.
One is our facial expression. People very quickly pick up on whether you're approachable and warm and smiling, or if you look like you're unhappy, that's a little bit threatening.
And what about the man we thought was a musician, but is actually a trainer?
Well, he presented himself as someone that seemed creative and fun and in the moment, and we have some assumptions that musicians are like that.
Remember, our group thought that this woman and this man were retired, when in fact they weren't. Was it a question of age or their nonverbal communications?
Our posture and body language have a huge impact. So if you are moving with power, with direction, that comes across as confident. And if you're slow or you're kind of meandering or not going anywhere, it doesn't present the same amount of power.
And the man who revealed he was a student, even though the group thought that he was a business executive.
He seemed to be aspirational. And a lot of times people try to dress for something that they want to be.
Forming that first impression is only natural, but are we feeding into stereotypes, or are most people misunderstood?
Well, it's mixed. We're hardwired to interpret things a certain way. So you can call it a stereotype or just human nature. Or it might be a conflict. Really, we're bohemian, but we're in a professional job. So we're trying to make those both work, maybe with some, wild jewelry, but still the business suit.
The most important thing is to get some feedback.
Ask a trusted friend, say, hey, how do I come across? And see if that's consistent with what you want to project.
Pretty interesting stuff. Well, you never know who's watching you out there. Dr. Desmarais has tables in her book and also on her website to help you conduct your own self-evaluation. You can go to our website, better.tv, for more information.
Thanks for watching Better.tv. For more stories like the one you just saw, catch the television program Better every weekday. Check your local TV listings to see if Better airs in your city.